This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. Listen, folks, Carmelo Anthony is in a conundrum. Let me say that again. Carmelo Anthony is in a conundrum. He's in a catch-22. He's in a pickle, but it's a pickle of his own doing. Carmelo Anthony brought this upon himself, folks. So I'm not going to sit here and be mad at what happened with Carmelo Anthony. He put it upon himself. He pissed off Stan Kroenke. See, I'm going to give y'all facts. Shout outs to the brother Ticket TV, because he was like, man, Melo done pissed off a power that be. Well, Ticket, I'm going to tell you who the power it is that be. It's in the name of Stan Kroenke and James Dolan. As me, I'm the master of common sense, dog. I state the most obvious because I reside in that realm. I have leads and droves of that thing. So I can piece up everything, putting two to two together. And if I'm right in the thick of it, it's even worse. So imagine me from afar figuring this thing out. You guys got to go back and do your research. When he broke up with the Denver Nuggets, he did them dirty. The Denver Nuggets was willing to give him whatever. Stan Kroenke's son, who was the GM of the team at the time, was pleading with Carmelo Anthony to stay with the Denver Nuggets. They were basically willing to give him the keys of the kingdom. You guys got to remember, before Masai Ujiri went to and became, what he is with the Toronto Raptors, guess what? He was with the Denver Nuggets doing pretty much a lower level, but what you would say entry level of what he's doing now with the Toronto Raptors. They tried to keep Carmelo Anthony. But Carmelo Anthony was on this naivety. He was on this pettiness nonsense because he thought he was on the levels of a LeBron James. He thought he was on the levels of a Dwayne Wade. But see, lo and behold, he don't have no championship. See, if Carmelo would have had championships to justify the ends, to justify the means, then it would have made sense for him to do what he's doing. But if you don't have no rings, how can you do that? And then you didn't even have a good safety blanket situation or a good safety blanket to fall back on. Because at least if you're going to leave the Denver Nuggets and you're going to do Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, that is, do your research on the Kroenke family. This family, Stan Kroenke, that is, this 72-year-old billionaire that's worth $8.8 billion, owns multiple NBA teams. So this guy has connection, man. He has cachet like nobody's business. And Carmelo did them dirty. If Carmelo wanted to stay in the NBA, he should have just stayed at Denver Nuggets. Let me say that again. If Carmelo Anthony wanted to stay in the NBA, he should have stayed at Denver Nuggets, because you know what they would have done? They would have given him respect for the loyalty. Even if his game would have declined and it would have receded. Because they were even willing to get rid of George Karl. They said, okay, Carmelo, whatever it takes to keep you. If George Karl is the problem, we're going to get rid of him. That's what they were willing to do for Carmelo Anthony. But see, he couldn't see beyond the nonsense. Carmelo Anthony put himself in that position, folks. So I don't feel sorry for Carmelo Anthony. Then he had an opportunity with the New York Knicks. And what does he do? He goes and squanders that, folks. That's what he does. He squanders it at his truest and most properest levels. So again, I don't feel sorry for him. Another power player in the NBA that he done pissed off, Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson has cachet beyond cachet beyond cachet. Excuse me. He pissed that dude off, folks. How do you piss off Phil Jackson? The man was trying to get you to integrate and play within the triangle offense, which would have helped basically alleviate your deficiencies. See, the problem with people is they're so caught up in how intricate and how difficult the triangle offense is, right? In their mind. But they don't understand. Yes, the triangle offense takes time to figure out. But once you figure it out, you realize how advantageous it is to your basketball game. If Carmelo Anthony would have had the patience to learn the triangle offense, Phil Jackson would have actually been able to have safety blanket players in situations to protect him from his defensive liabilities. But he wasn't willing to listen. So not only did he challenge the Kroenke family, he challenged arguably the greatest coach in basketball, the most winningest coach in basketball. How do you do that? Where they do that at, man? Who raised you? It's a comedian that says that, man. I forgot his name, dog. Y'all help me in the comment section. That dude is funny as hell. But who raised you? Where they do that at, man? This is stuff that I'm talking about. But people want me to feel sorry for Carmelo. I'm not going to do that. You make hundreds of millions of dollars. It's evident that you are broke right now, or you're having financial woes or financial problems, and you're basically trying to come back into the league so that you can make some money to offset these debts. Come on, man. I don't need to sit here and be around the affairs. I can put 2 and 2 together to see what's going on. Because will a player of Carmelo Anthony's grandeur and his stardom be reduced to where he's at right now to beg on ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith for a job? That's usually something some role player does. That's usually something somebody that was a superstar but that fell from so high grace, that has something controversial with them. You know what I'm saying? Something that's so polarizing that it sticks to a level to where they have to do something like that. You don't have to do this, but you push yourself into the position. This is why I say Carmelo Anthony, his worst enemy was himself. Let me say that again. His worst enemy was himself, and he needs to look into the mirror so that he could see why he put himself into that position. It's really that damn simple, folks. This is not Albert Einstein. This is not the theory of relativity. This is not us trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, the E equals MC squared. You know what I'm saying? You know, every reaction doesn't have an opposite but equal reaction to it. You know what I'm saying? Not in this scenario, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Because the saying is, for every reaction, there's an equal yet opposite reaction, right? Well, this is not the case for Karma. This is not the case for Carmelo Anthony. It's whatever you believe in. It's what we would call karma, or what you would say, you reap what you sow. Because Carmelo Anthony needs to look at the person who was the person that caused all of this. This man had a arduous and hard relationship with George Karl, where he outed George Karl. This man had fights in the NBA that was very controversial, that got him fined for games. This man, in the Rookie of the Year, you guys got to go back and look at the Rookie of the Year award. He did one of the most tasteless things because he didn't get the Rookie of the Year award. That's why he didn't get it when they gave it to LeBron James instead of him. Carmelo Anthony has some skeletons in his closet if you pay attention to his NBA career. So the NBA was just basically waiting for his offensive game to recede before they could blackball him out and say, hey, get out of here. But Carmelo Anthony is also serving as the example for other players in the future to let them know the NBA is not tolerating some of this other nonsense. And trust and believe, come the next collective bargaining agreement, you guys have to remember, in the last one, the players had 57% of the NBA revenue. Even with LeBron James and all this player power movement, that's what I said. You guys are brain full of mush, brainwashed, and dodo head followers. Because those that are true deep thinkers, those that can weed through the nonsense, 3D thinkers, you know what I'm saying, like me, 3-dimensional thinkers, are able to see between the BS. We're able to see between the sugar-coatedness. And what was the sugar-coatedness? Oh, LeBron empowered players, but your player revenue went down. Even with LeBron James in the league, right? It went down from 57% to 49%. So what you think is going to happen in the next collective bargaining agreement come 2024 and 2025, when all of these players that you see are sitting here and in free agency, they're doing all of this seclusion, they're doing all of this crap show, they're doing all of this toxic as you know what environment, and they're sitting here colluding with one another. Because LeBron is the author of the Super Friends era. What do you think's going to happen? You think this is helping mid-market and low-market teams that want to be competitive with the big-market teams? Come on, man. Don't be surprised if the lion's share of the revenue goes even further down to about 40, 41, 42%. Remember, this was He Knows the Sport. That was the first one to tell you. So, because I'm He Knows the Sport, I'm bringing that what? That heat and that fire. And I'm He Knows the Sport. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. It is what it is, man. That's the truth. Remember, I come with cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truths. Melo, I don't feel sorry for you, dude. You put yourself in that position. And until you come to the conclusion that you need to look at the person in the mirror who caused all of this and understand the full weight and gravity of what you did, embrace it and understand and realize that now I am what I call a NBA journeyman, and I have to be willing to take whatever role comes to me. There are 4 possible suitors: the Miami Heat, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Los Angeles Lakers. But if one of them wants to take you, they have to know wholeheartedly that you're willing to take that reduced role. And trust and believe, if you don't take it, they will cut your ass and pink slip you in half the time that the Houston Rockets did. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.